And now it is my pleasure to introduce our Student Government President, Ann Lofgren, who will introduce our graduation speaker.
I first heard of Ann Longley from my parents this past summer. That summer, all the heads of the many leadership groups on campus worked to plan a web house system, like the one in the Harry Potter book series. We needed names of important web figures to represent each web house. I turned to my parents, both of which work or used to work at Webb, to give me examples of men and women of the Webb schools who shaped it into what it is now. Ann Longley popped into their minds immediately as an obvious choice. It's easy to see why. Dr. Ann Longley was at Vivian Webb School in 1981 when it first began with its 34 pioneers. More than that, she was its founding headmistress and helped guide its early development. She was no stranger to Webb, as her late husband, Stephen Longley, led the Webb School of California as headmaster from 1973 to 1979. Webb was already home to her, but now she made it home for young women eager to learn. When she returned to England following her 3 years as headmistress, BWS enrollment had more than doubled. In England, she led the Rodian School in Brighton. In 1991, Ann Longley received an honorary Doctorate of Education from the University of Sussex for her impact as both a leader and an educator. Dr. Ann Longley's legacy continues on at Vivian Webb. Each year, the Ann R. Longley Prize for Distinguished Leadership and Service is presented to a BWS student at recognition ceremony in honor of Longley's leadership and service to the school at its founding stages. At now 231 daughters strong, Longley's leadership continues to inspire current and future students to strive for wisdom, friendship, and honor. I'm proud to introduce the 2019 BWS Commencement speaker, Dr. Ann R. Longley.
Headmaster, Dean Lance, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, parents, students, and most important, the class of 2019. Happy? It's such a privilege and joy to be invited back to Vivian Webb to celebrate this exciting and nostalgic occasion of your graduation, the 36th class to graduate. Nostalgic for me because it's a time to look back to the founding of the school in 1981, and for you to look back over the past few years, to thank your parents, teachers and friends who celebrated your triumphs and supported you through the tough times. And exciting because of the anticipation that lies ahead. Maybe you're only looking as far ahead as the next step, college, but you're entering a world of complexity, change and uncertainty, which is young women, immense opportunity. Opportunities which my generation could only dream of. When Taylor first visited me last November and invited me back to tell you something about the foundation of Vivian Webb, I was truly surprised and greatly honored. Then panic set in. What, after 38 years, could I possibly remember? However, I delved back into the back of a closet, and there it was. A box marked VWS 1981. A positive treasure trove of archives, all carefully filed in manila folders. And with it, the memories came flooding back. The first thing that fell out was titled An Argumentative Essay by a Webb student, subtitled, No Girls Allowed. And I quote, "The introduction of girls on campus will bring the downfall of Webb School. Our studious environment will break down severely with the invasion of girls. What might benefit the girls will be detrimental to the boys. The values of the school founded on honor will be lost." And he ended, "There can only be one direction for Webb, straight down. Now, admittedly, we did ask the boys for their opinion, and they were not all negative. But I'm glad those first founding students, those who followed them, and you all, proved him absolutely wrong. In fact, I think you'll agree the enrollment of girls turned out to be the rejuvenation of the Webb School. The values of honour and trust were not lost, but embraced in a new, dynamic and creative way by the advent of girls. So you can begin to understand what we were up against. It was not all plain sailing at the start. Change to an established school founded in 1922 by men to educate men was understandably threatening. In those early days, it had to be achieved incrementally and with care. The first seeds of change had in fact been sown way back in 1974 when my husband, Stephen Longley, newly appointed head of Webb, set up the Education Committee to discuss a possible way forward for Webb. The outcome was not to go ahead at that point, but to begin at least by appointing some women to the faculty, and Sylvia Connolly was the first. The pressure for change came eventually from the parents of local girls, and a small group who backed the project was formed, which in time became the BWS Board of Founding Trustees. And we were so fortunate in them. Not only did they staunchly back the new school, but our Vice President Winthrop was backed by our Vice President Winthrop, but they also helped fund the fledgling project, like Anne Bloom, our first chairman. I haven't done this for 20 years, and I just need to take a sip of water before I continue. Well, it's down there. I'll always be grateful to Webb, given that we were invading their campus and sharing all facilities, that we were given our own base in the centre of campus, though I do remember I had to fight very hard for it. And best of all, we had the freedom to form our own purpose, policy and traditions, building onto Webb's, but unique and different from the boys. We began by asking the founding students what sort of a school they wanted, and these are some of their responses. I want a school with very high standards, giving me a chance to rise to my fullest potential. I want to be recognized as an individual, not just a face in a group. I want the challenge and reward of hard work. As a pioneer at this new and special school, I would have the chance to supply some of my own ideas to the establishment of traditions and standards, which will be important to many others in the future. To work to my fullest, I need people around me who will accept nothing less than the best from me. I feel Vivian Webb can give this to me, and also give me the chance to become the kind of person I want to be: honest, trustworthy, and loving. From these and many more, our purpose was established: to offer every student the opportunity to develop her full potential in a setting that provided for intellectual, physical, social, emotional, and spiritual growth. Each student was encouraged to achieve the high standards of academic excellence and integrity. We strove to establish a sense of community and mutual respect by placing value on the contributions of each individual member. Our program was designed to meet those goals, to stretch, challenge, encourage, and support young women through a wide variety of experiences, both in and out of the classroom. It is the sum total of those experiences that builds self-assurance and helps a young woman move toward adulthood, toward the harmonizing of values, feelings, and knowledge to become a whole person. That was our goal, as I believe it is today: whole people, not just skilled performance, accomplishment, or academic excellence, but human wholeness, human integrity. Right from the start, the first students were given a real voice in decision-making. guided by our first Dean, Janet McCauley, who's here today, and later Kathy Hassey, now Simon, also here. They wrote their own constitution, establishing student councillors as opposed to honour committeemen. They created their own traditions, like the candlelight ceremony. We had our own peccary trips, led by science teacher Joan Cressigan, who's also here today. There were changes of both curriculum and teaching methods to address girls' needs. At first, single-sex English and maths classes. A team taught women's studies course. And thanks to Jo Hartley, a woman in leadership's lecture series was initiated, inviting nationally acclaimed researchers and speakers to the school at a time when groundbreaking research on girls was being done. This freedom allowed Vivian Webb to establish its own identity and put it on the map nationally. And year by year since then, Vivian Webb students have built onto those strong foundations, just as you all have done, so that through your contribution to the school you are leaving, it is part of what you have created. What you didn't have to experience was that nerve-wracking walk into the dining room by those 34 courageous freshmen and sophomores that very first week of term in 1981, as the eyes of 264 boys turned upon them. I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to return and find Vivian Webb thriving with such energy and talent thanks to you. I congratulate you all and hope, like former alums Christine McGinley and Julia Alexander and others, you will come back and continue to support and contribute to the school. Thirsty work for a speech here, you know. But enough of history and nostalgia. What of that exciting future that lies ahead for the class of 2019? It was Eleanor Roosevelt who said, "One's philosophy is not best expressed in words. It is expressed in the choices one makes. In the long run, we shape our lives and we shape ourselves. The process never ends until we die, and the choices we make are ultimately our responsibility. In the long run, we shape our lives and we shape ourselves." And I would go a step further and say, by the choices we make, we shape the future. We shape the workplace, family life, attitudes, the society in which we live. Indeed, we shape the very fabric and quality of life. And ultimately, this reshaping, this redesign, is our responsibility. When I think of the legacy that we are leaving you, I am at the same time proud, glad, amazed, but also guilty. Proud of the opportunities and louder voice you will have, both nationally and politically, that were not ours. Glad, thanks to the advancement of medicine, our destiny has become more a matter of choice and planning. Amazed at the growing body of science and technology that has both expanded the universe and reduced the world in which we live to a global community. But guilty that there are still starving children we have not fed. The threat of conflict has not been reduced, and guilty that we passed on an environment that is not less but more polluted. As more and more of you talented young women have the opportunities to move into the workplace and into positions of leadership, the greater becomes the onus on you to take on these responsibilities. And I am certain that the qualities and kind of leadership skills that you will bring will be of the utmost importance in helping to solve the problems with which humankind is faced. Behind you are centuries of training in human relationships, in diplomacy and communication in the family sphere, in collaboration with and contributing to the goals of others, in caring and nurturing, in dealing with complexity, ambiguity, contradictions, ethics and values, and in seeing life as a whole. The contribution that each one of you brings is vital to the rethinking and reshaping of the future. Each one of you has the skills, training and the self-assurance you need to make those important choices ahead. And how did you acquire them? First, you have your parents to thank. For 17, 18 years now, they have nurtured, encouraged, supported, scolded and chided. They have set standards and limits. They have said no. They have shared your joys and your pain, your successes and failures. They have, with greater or lesser frustration, on both sides, no doubt, guided you to cope with those three adolescent stumbling blocks: the world, the flesh, and the cell phone. And all the time you have been learning the skills which you need to evaluate and make judgments. You have been learning the process of making choices. As a grandmother of 6 grandchildren, one of whom, Imogen, turns 18 today, I'm now observing it all again, just at one step removed. Second, you have the teachers in the school community to thank for all those experiences both in and out of the classroom that helped you internalize a set of values so that you know what is right and wrong, so that you understand what trust, honesty, fairness and moral courage are all about. And thirdly, you have your friends to thank, for they too have been part of that transition from childhood to adulthood. They too have been part of those formative years. Thank all of them, parents, teachers and friends, for everything that has contributed to the building of your self-assurance and self-esteem, and has helped you to harmonize values, feelings and knowledge to become a whole person, because human wholeness, human integrity is what you will need for the choices ahead. And having shown gratitude to them, look within yourselves. Look at your own talents and strengths and believe in yourselves. As a recent First Lady wrote in her autobiography, your story is what you have, what you will always have. It is something to own. As she set the challenge, who do you want to become? I hear from your senior advisor, Dr. Maxim, that as a class you have worked extremely hard and been involved in all areas of school life, including excelling at the ropes course. This I would love to have seen. She says you speak up when needed, know how to get the job done, and know in your heart what is right and are supportive of each other. Draw on the ideas, traditions and ideals that lie behind you, but do not be limited or confined by the past. Your future is not the one we faced. So I bid you, the class of 2019, the young women of tomorrow, be confident, be self-assured, think creatively, believe in yourselves. While we cannot entirely control the future, be aware of your role and responsibility in shaping it. The future is yours. Dare to reach out and seize it. And I cannot think of a better way to end than with this Scottish toast used at Vivian Webb's first graduation. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. The sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand.